No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today I'm in here with Ally Lotti.
Literally. Hi, guys.
How you doing?
You know what? I'm doing a lot better.
Really?
A lot better, but not best at all.
Right.
There's obviously a kind of ground point we have to start at better with
Right.
me. When it comes down to, I guess, my situation and me.
It's been a rough, year and a half?
Yeah.
To say the least.
To say the least. I low-key still...
Can you just scoot a little bit this way so that the mic will be closer? There we go.
Does
Perfect.
that work?
Yeah, I think so.
You tell me where.
There you
I
go.
was eating earlier. I didn't want to get anything on anything. You know me.
Right. Chipotle.
Are you ready? What was on that Chipotle? It was just rice and beans.
That really? Because I did notice a lot of beans, and I was like, "What is going on there?"
No, it's just plain rice and beans.
You could get that anywhere. You don't even have to go to Chipotle.
They were already there.
Right.
I don't eat anything else from Chipotle.
Why not? You don't eat meat?
I do. I just don't trust theirs. Do you?
Hell yeah.
What do you get?
I get the burrito bowl with chicken and basically everything else.
You trust their chicken?
Yeah. Well, because like 2 people died of E. coli. I'm not worried about that.
I didn't even know those facts. These These are just things I was putting into.
No, yeah, they had an issue a few years back.
Oh no, okay, my bad, Chipotle.
They were shutting the Chipotle's down.
That.
They shut Chipotle down for a few days and shit because of that. And still, I'm in there just running reckless. Yeah.
Oh my God, no. See, I actually never ate Chipotle in my life till I moved out here.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't eat it in Jersey.
Well,
I didn't eat it
that's a good segue. Talk a little bit about where you're from, Ally Lotti.
Oh my God. Where do we start with where I'm from? Okay, first of all,
You're originally from Jersey.
I'm originally from Jersey. Everyone thinks I'm from Alabama, which is what it is because it's my second home. I feel like, but in reality, I started off Jersey, like South Jersey, Philly though, not New York, Jersey, South Jersey, Philly.
Right.
Decided fuck it, I don't want to be here. And
at what age?
I was probably like 17, 18.
I love how people are able to condense their entire childhood and teenage years into like, that was all right, and then I decided to get the fuck out of there.
I was just like, I was already partying. Like, I already did all the high school, the college parties. I already did everything. Everyone was older than me.
Okay.
So I was like, fuck it. I don't need to be here. I'm going to
You were that 15-year-old girl at the college party?
That was there, though, smartly. Everything I did was like, I was making moves like smartly. Like
the other people there are the ones who were basically in a not smart position, if anything.
I don't want to say not smart because do whatever you want to do.
Right.
But like, they were there to have fun. I was there to make money or like to make sure I was on the right vibe.
Make money.
Like, and just be there. Yeah, in Philly, we used to throw warehouse parties. Mm-hmm. And it's like Tuesday, or Monday nights, we throw huge warehouse parties. Like, we just break into a warehouse. And, like, throw parties.
Right.
Where people would come, just... I don't know. I wasn't into the scene, but I threw the party, so I made hella money.
Who put you onto this entrepreneurial streak / criminal streak?
No, there was no criminal.
You're breaking into a warehouse.
I didn't break in. I'm just. I don't look at me. I'm little. I didn't do it.
I'm sure you were saying that kind of stuff when you got in trouble then too, huh?
No, I didn't get
I'm
in
just
trouble
a kid.
Then. No, hell no. I'm gonna take whatever I do. I'm gonna take, but. I'm definitely not going to be the one getting in trouble. Like, no.
Right.
I'm just the one they're like, oh, we have a warehouse. Do you know people? And I'm like, well, yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, it was like, okay, well, you guys have to pay $5 a head to get in and then pay for whatever else is in there, wherever else you guys want to do. That's not my problem. I'm just the door person.
What kind of music was being played at these parties?
You know what? At these parties, which is why I'm saying it really wasn't my scene, it was more of an EDM kind of vibe. Like, they were just and there'd be a back way where everyone would be just high, chilling. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to smoke with them and chill. Because I didn't drink, I didn't do things.
Okay.
I just wanted to be there and have my chance to be like, all right, well, I'm making my money.
You were motivated by money at that point?
Always.
Did you grow up without money for the most part?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my mom had me when she was 15.
Oh, wow.
So after my mom having me that young and then learning, my mom was my biological mom was such a great mom with teaching me about myself. But when it comes down to after she knows, she can't teach me anymore. She only knows up to there. You know what I mean? As a mom teaching a daughter or something. Okay. So after that, I was like, all right, Ally, go. I wasn't even Ally yet. I was Alicia at that point. No one called me Ally in my life.
Alicia.
And, literally. And then they were like, all right, Alicia, go figure it the fuck out. Just make sure you graduate high school. And I was like, all right.
But you left at 17?
Yeah, as soon as I went and I got my stuff early, and then left, went to
Alabama?
Yep,
Why?
6 states away.
You wanted to go try to meet Gucci Mane or something?
No, he's from Alabama?
Originally.
See, no, I don't know, no. I went to go to Alabama because I like to be by myself.
Really?
I don't like to be around people.
You didn't know anyone there? And
I
you're like,
knew
this is the state for me.
Yeah. I just went.
Wow.
I just went. I just went for it. And then there, it ended up being really wild because I didn't know what I was expecting. And I did get that redneck ass, like, thing you think of for Alabama. Mm-hmm. But in general, where I did live, was not by that part. I went to go fishing. Went fishing in the wrong area. Didn't know it was a thing.
What? You just weren't allowed to fish there?
No.
No white people allowed, or what?
It was more,
no girls?
It was like no. It was like I guess I went on like the wrong fishing block. Like I don't know. I've never had this problem before, other than when fishing. And I went to this wrong like part of the river where it was like some like these like drunk boys river. I don't even know. And next thing I know, I was in handcuffs. I called the cops.
Oh,
like,
the cops were the ones who took issue.
No. The guys took the issue, and then they started saying like, "Oh, like I'm gonna hang you from a tree," and like all this. I was like, I get it, and I understand the whole vibe.
Y'all are into
but,
just
like,
hanging people around
are
here?
you really saying this real life? And that really life, yeah, that
To a
happened.
random girl?
They tried to say, they go, oh, you don't, they're like, you done took the GPS out of my car. I'm like, I'm calling the cops because you're holding I went to go pee and my phone fell out of my pocket while I was peeing. Okay, like I had tight pants on, I'm fishing, I don't want to get caught and shit.
Okay.
So, peeing outside, fucking phone falls, didn't realize. Then I calling it like later on. I'm like probably 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, trying to find it in the woods, and with the other people who I was there, like their phone. And next thing I know, some guy picks it up, like, and not guy, like they were like, I don't know, I was younger then, but they were like in their 20s.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden it went from that to like, I was like, if you're not going to give me it back and say all these things, like, I'm out here with, like, maybe 1 or 2 other people, and they're from where I'm from. Uh-huh. So, like, this is not cool. like,
how do you get out of this situation?
I had to call the cops, because I was like, I didn't, like, and I'm not a cop caller, but, like, I had to call the cops, because, like, the next thing was I was either being hung or I was going to leave my phone, and I'm not leaving my phone.
I'm surprised that like hanging you was the thing that came to mind.
No, they had like a whole
random...
like baseball bat and everything. Like it was ridiculous. I thought I was in a movie.
Wow.
I promise on everything. This is documented.
Did these guys get in trouble?
So the whole time I'm like, I'm just gonna call the cops. Like at first I'm saying it just to say it so they give me my shit back. Cause like I'm like, okay, you're gonna be scared. I'm calling the cops. You're in the wrong. Like you're saying these things. Like what are you talking about? You're in the wrong. Next thing I know, the cops come. I guess they're someone's dad's cop. Whatever. I don't know. Someone knows someone with the cops.
Okay.
That came. Next thing I know, I'm like I'm in handcuffs and the front of my truck, like just facing the front of my truck. And these guys are like, they end up finding their GPS underneath their car and their stuff. Like I'm nowhere near their stuff. Nowhere near. We're parked on completely like this is like at least 50 feet away, like in the woods. We don't know. I can't see their stuff. They can't see mine because we were catfishing. So at catfishing, you go at night.
Okay.
So it's
at
like,
first I thought you meant you were pretending to be different women or something.
What?
Like, you know,
catfishing.
catfishing.
Oh, catfishing. Oh my God. See, no, and that's, I have no idea. I don't even think when it comes down to online shit, I'm just like, what?
Okay.
Like, no, I don't know. No, I'm like, a catfish? Like, I caught one. Right. I know how to catch them. I could help you. Not catfishing, like, online.
That's good. That came later.
I can't. But yeah, no, that's what started in Alabama. But then after that got cleared all up, which got cleared up fine for me, and I don't know what the fuck else happened with everyone else, but I know that I ended up being fine once I was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? This is racist as hell.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that shit cleared up real quick. And then I stayed in Alabama. I was like, I'm not gonna let that scare me, and I stayed in Alabama, and I actually lived in Huntsville, and it's like a lower key, like Nashville mixed with a little bit of like Atlanta flair.
Okay.
And it's like this little town, like not town, it's like a city, but it's like just a little town city thing. And I fuck with it and I love it out there. And there's like the Tennessee River and you can just chill. And that's where I like love to be. And then after that, I moved to Memphis because right there. Danced in Memphis because no one knew me.
Really?
Yeah. So
Ooh, is this a untold detail? I didn't know you.
No, I feel like everyone knows that I danced before. I mean, everyone knew.
Okay. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I respect the
no,
hustle.
no.
Just didn't know.
That's my thing. I've always just like, I always made sure I'm good because I've always been by myself. And then I got my dog. I got Kaplan first. And after I got Kaplan, he was like crying all day while I worked at my normal job. I was a bartender. And I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I gotta go and like make sure I get a job where the dog's not upset and like I can take care of him properly and do things with him during the day. So I went fucking 3 hours away, moved there by myself, and walked into a strip club for my first time. And lied. It was my first time walking to a strip club during like almost hours. Like it was about to be time. I walked in right before. Other than that, I walked to a strip club once before in my whole life. And this time I'm about 23, like 24. I stayed the rest of the time in Alabama just chilling, right?
Right.
And then went there after I got my dog and walked in as a bartender, walked out as a dancer named Lotti. Like, and it just, that was that quick. And then I think I danced for not just a couple months, made enough money, and then went to Vegas, bet on a couple things there, and then went again when the Eagles won, bleed green, Philadelphia all day.
Wait, you won a bunch of money in Vegas?
Yeah.
Really?
And for New Year's. I won a shit ton of money in Vegas like I used my money that I had already and like just went and spent that there and then won hella money there. Not hella money, but I won a good enough money I could just sit for a minute. It was chill. And that's where I just ended up coming to LA, like back and forth from here to Memphis, like I said, I went back again when it was time to play for sports. And I bet on the Eagles winning because no one thought that was going to happen. But I knew. I was like, that's my team. We're fucking winning.
Right.
And I remember sitting at a table with like everyone who wasn't my team. Who were we? I don't even know who we were playing. It didn't matter.
You're asking the wrong guy.
It didn't matter to me because I knew we were winning.
Okay.
I was like, this is happening.
That's how sports betting works. You just bet on the team that you want to win.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you don't have to know. At the end of the day, I was like, this is happening. I know in my heart and like the depths of my heart, this is what's happening today. And I was right. And I was like, fuck yeah. I'm so glad I made that bet.
Okay.
And I did. And then after that, I was like, I made another bet when I was drunk and I lost like $30,000 and like 2 cigarettes. And I was like, I got to get out of here.
And 2 cigarettes.
No, not and. During the process.
Oh,
like it wasn't
wow.
it wasn't even like a day. Like, no, I sat down, smoked 2 cigarettes, lost 30,000, got up and went and got a steak because I was really mad at myself. I was very drunk. Don't drink a lot of Dom and go and gamble.
Yeah, don't gamble drunk in general.
No, gamble drunk, but don't gamble.
They kind of go hand in hand. I guess you're right.
Not at like 6 a.m. No one's there. Like you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
So yeah, no. After that, I just ended up being in LA for a little bit, going back and forth, like I said, to Memphis because I do love being in the country.
Right.
Have my dogs, and then, did a couple tours, did a couple this, did a couple that. Yeah, I would go with my friend. I've been in this I guess industry for a minute, but like just everyone's cool. Like they're just friends. Like I've always just didn't have shit to do.
But like, touring with who?
Touring, just a bunch of, literally almost everyone, a bunch of random people. I just they'd be like, oh, we're in this city, like da da da. I'm like, all right, bitch, I'm gonna just fly, and just fly. Hey, stop by, see a show or two, dip. Like,
must be nice to be a girl, man.
When I got to that process, I worked. You have to remember, I worked really hard for that. We were just talking about me at a younger age, just on warehouse parties. Like I was. Right. I made sure I was good.
So you made a lot of friends.
I made a lot. I've always had a lot of good friends. Like, but I don't have a lot of people I hang out with.
Right.
I like to be by myself. But everyone that's like my friend or has been my friend knows, like, it's like I'm that kind of person that like you show up and you're like, hey, I haven't seen each other for a minute, and here we are.
Here we
like,
are.
hey, no, I came in with Chipotle, like, you know what I mean?
You
like,
didn't come in with Chipotle. You came in with beans and rice.
Yeah, wait.
It could have been from anywhere.
No, it had to be from Chipotle.
I guess.
Yeah, no. But then after that, I actually was gonna go out, just chill with Jared, Juice Wrld, obviously, for people.
And
that
how
don't
did you start
understand.
talking to him?
Well, that was, like I said, I would go chill, I'd do this, I'd do that, whatever I wanted. And he was like, oh, well, I'm in Rhode Island. And I'm like, well, fuck it. I have family out that way.
And this is like within the first couple months of him even having like music videos out, right? Like he's still very early,
Yeah.
right?
See, I didn't know. At that point, I was like country music. Like I
Really?
listened to everything. Like, you know, I listened to rap, R&B my entire life. Like that's something that's never left. But I've definitely, when it comes down to just listening to a bunch of different genres, I've always done that. I've always loved music. So I remember when my country friend from Alabama was the one who showed me Jared. And I remember him playing me 2 songs, and then we went back to this house, and it was like a couple of us there, and they were like, yeah, no, listen to Lucid Dreams. I remember sitting there in this guy's house, like watching this video, and I'm like, whoever the fuck this kid, like I couldn't even make out his face or who he was, right? I was like, I don't know who the fuck this kid is, but because I don't know what version I was watching of this shit, because it was so new. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, this is, if I made music, like if I knew how, like if I didn't sound like Fran Dresser, like this is what I would do. Like I would make music in this sense, like you're mixing a bunch of genres together and being so good at it, and me at that point not even knowing his talent yet, just like really hearing what you put together, not knowing if you sat down with writers, if you did this, if you did that, what you did in your process of recording, which doesn't matter what you did to make your art, because everyone makes art differently. But Jared's way of making art, as you have seen, it's profitable. It's like he's a prophet with that shit. Like that shit's not even fair.
Right.
It's like us breathing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that
Like,
collectively everybody who ever was around him in the studio pretty much agreed he was the best that they ever saw in the studio.
When it comes down to Jared in the studio, it's like putting it's like putting fish in water. Like he's in his element,
Right.
to the point that he's just breathing, and it's amazing us.
But okay, how do we get from you seeing his music video to actually being around him and meeting him?
So I saw his music video, and I was like, I'm going to play this shit. I don't care what studio I'm in, who I'm around. Like, I'm playing this shit. I was working at the club. I made them play, like, this. I was like, this shit is so fire. Like, you know, this is going to be huge. And then I remember messaging him, and I had messaged him, and I was like, hey, I don't know, because when I did, he had, like, barely any... He had like, I wouldn't let anyone add. I didn't like social media. You know what I mean? So I remember being on his social media. I'm like, you have no followers. Like for people that I would normally like be like, is this your song? I thought it was like a fan page, but it was actually, he was just that new that like no one knew him yet. And I'm like, I remember being like, I don't know if this is your like real page, but like, whoever the fuck this Juice Wrld person is fucking fire. Like, this music is, like, keep it up. Like, don't fucking stop. This shit's so good. And I played it everywhere, and then it was, like, 3 months later, everyone was like, yeah, this shit's fire. And, like, on the radio, it's everywhere. And then, but in that process, obviously, we kept up and just would talk to each other here and there. And then as time went on, he would go ahead and talk to me more about what he was doing when it came down. Like, he's like, I'm upset. And I'm like, okay, what's up? You know what I mean?
You're not used to guys
like,
hitting you with shit like that?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm like, bro, what do you mean? And then he's like, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, bro, you're just having a panic attack. Like, sit down. Like, he's like, what do you mean a panic attack? Like, no one knew around him what he was going through. And I'm like, man, bro, you just got to lay down. Like, you got to just,
right.
put your hands in some, like, cold water with ice, like, lay down. Like, you know what I mean? Just give him, like, tips. I have anxiety. I have things like that. Like, a lot of when it comes down to that mental health. But I'm very aware of it. So I make sure that I have things that I would need for that. Or if I'm like gonna pass out, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm like, Adam, get me this or get me that. You know what I mean? I'll like freak out and like tell you what I need, and because I know. Where Jared had no idea. And the people around, and not all the people around him, but the people that were around him daily that you would think that was doing that for him or saying that, like, you know, his friend or girl, whatever it is, someone should be there to be like, hey, this is cool. Like, this is what you should do if you're having a panic attack. Not, no, that's not real, or feel worse about yourself or do it. Like, no, no. So I ended up actually being just cool with him, super close with him. And we end up, like, he was like, hey, I'm by, da-da-da-da. I know you're from Jersey. I'm like, fine, cool. My family's out that way anyway. I'll come see you. Dip, go see them, just smoke, chill, you know what I mean? And then fly home. No big deal. It's over a weekend.
Because, okay, from my perspective, when he came through to the No Jumper office and did the exposed interview, which was the first piece of content that we ever did with him, he had a girlfriend before you, and that's who he was with at that time.
Yeah, it wasn't me. Yeah,
right.
No, never.
But then pretty soon after, that didn't work out, and then next time I saw him, he was with you. And that just kind of surprised me a little bit. But
it surprised everyone.
But when I talked to him, one thing that always stood out to him was I just remember him telling me he just really didn't really seem comfortable being single. Like he would,
oh my God, no.
He would talk to me about
he could not be single if his life depended on it.
Like his friends basically telling him like, bro, you should do some thought shit. Like you should fuck these groupies, whatever. And he even like told me that like when he kind of tried that, it really just left him not feeling good.
Because so he's like, his mind works so fast. He's already thinking about 80 different things. So everyone's like, all right, yeah, let's fuck this thought, this, that. He's like, well, I want to be high. I'm chilling. I'm going to drink. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I can't be comfortable being like that, and I don't trust these bitches. I don't even know this bitch's middle name, this last name. Like, she could take my chain, she could take my money, she could call her people up here, da-da-da. Like, he's from Chicago, he's not stupid.
That's very, very wise, and that's something that no rappers are normally thinking about when they first get in the game.
He's thinking, he's smart, he's not, and then when I came, he's very smart with that shit. It's like, he already knew, and that's why he always had someone with him. Now, then he realized, okay, I could have people with me who I choose, not who I'm like supposed, like, because they're here, I have to. No, this is my show. I'm Juice Wrld. This is my world, and that's what I'm like. This is do what's the best for you. What makes you comfortable when it comes down to this or that or who or you know what I mean. And he's like, no, yeah, you're right. This like my family, like my this, my that, like, and yeah, I don't like to be single. Now I remember finding out his real age when like we were already dating.
Okay.
And
because he was what, like 18?
He was 19 and I was 25.
Okay.
And again, like I said, I went to go smoke and chill with him and dip like a friend, like how I'm here, smoke, did an interview, dap up, leave. You know what I'm saying? Like chilling. Jared literally he kidnapped me. Is the only way we could say it. It's like a joke that we would say, but it happened. I don't own anything from my house except for my dogs.
Like he wasn't trying to have you leave. He was just like, I want your presence.
No, he did not let me leave.
Right.
Like I couldn't go get underwear from my old house. I didn't know. He bought me brand new everything. I didn't leave. Because then we were on a next tour. I had to go to Tokyo with him, or he wasn't going to go and do the tour in Tokyo.
You had a passport?
He actually, for my passport, it was already on the way because I was supposed to go on a girls' trip. And he had someone call Canada, and then I had to call Canada and I'm talking to Canada. Like, I don't know. Like,
just anyone, just the entire
No, I'm talking
country.
to the country.
I'm talking to Canada
When
right
I remember crying about it, being like, Jared, is this real? And like, I was dead ass on the thing, like with Canadian, whoever support, blah, 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 for getting my passport. Because he was like, she's going to get her passport tomorrow at 12. She has to be from 11 to 12. It was like overnighted. She has to have it then. She has to get a new license. So I had to go to the DMV at 8 a.m., get my license, wait for my thing in the mail, and then get onto my flight to where it crossed over to was in Canada. So it crossed over into Canada, and then from there, we have to go to Tokyo. And he like made all this happen. You could ask Peter. Peter literally, like, I think I have a video of all of us. Like, I'm on the phone. That's the thing, is he would call me 24/7. It would be 4 a.m. here, regular time there. I remember he was with Cole. Like, they were doing a bunch of videos, and I would have to be on the phone with him. Like, there's a video of him doing like what's the word? Zip lining. And I'm on the phone with him while he's doing it. Like, he like Pete's like, we need her out here. She needs to be out here. If she's not out here, he's not. And he wasn't. He like was not about. He was like, I'm canceling the tour, doing this and doing. I'm like, why? I'm right here. I can help you through it. What do you need? Like, what do you want to do? Like,
that was his way of letting you know he really liked you. Was basically
pretty
I'm
much
not doing anything unless you come with me.
Literally, that was it. And then I was like, okay, well, I gotta go. Found someone to watch my dogs, and then put them in training because they're like emotional support dogs, canine dogs, and then my one dog's a hunting dog. So they've gone through a lot of training. So they had 2 months of training for the canine stuff, and during that time is when I had gone and did the Nicki Minaj tour with him. So and then I came back from that, brought me my dogs to LA, and it's the only thing I own from my past life.
Wow.
Literally. So yeah, we joke about him kidnapping me, but it was not, like, I have the bag I brought. Like, I didn't bring a suitcase.
What happened to the stuff that was in your old apartment? You just forgot about it?
No. It's actually in a storage in Arkansas.
Oh. So someone could go get it.
So yes, we can go get it. Now, actually, it's like
a time capsule.
It's what's even worse is the person who had it was my very best friend of 7-8 years, and he had passed away in January.
Whoa.
So, and like, he was like one of the only people that I knew while I would be traveling, this and that. So with that, it was like, so for me to even go get it, I haven't even decided, like, I can't even decide to start to process that now.
Right.
Because of everything I'm still processing.
Fuck.
So, but even to go ahead and get anything from my past life, I then now have to process my best friend. So this year I took off, made sure that, like, as much as I could, and made sure that my mental was in a better state than it definitely would have been if I would have came out right away and been like sharing my emotions then with everyone when everything had happened. So I just waited, you know what I mean? Like, digged in here or there and let it be, but trying to now this year probably talk more about it and like be more like open about it, where before I'd be like, no.
So your mind, when he passed, like, your mind went to basically, like, you know, I mean, because it's got to be really hard to choose a path at that point. Like, but I guess going quiet is probably the safe bet in a lot of ways. Just because
it's not even it wasn't a bet that could have even been. And I'm all, like I said, we go gambling all day. Like, it's not even a thing to be betting safe on. Like, it was like for the public, like, it's better for y'all, like, you know what I mean? Like,
because
I was in no way, shape, or form to be able to speak to the lobby person downstairs than even speak to people who cared about. But you know what I mean?
The crazy thing too is that it's like a lot of people might not have necessarily knew who you were, and then that just put the spotlight on you so much crazier.
It was one mentally. When I started dating Jared, I decided, because I was like, you're young. When I found out he was young, I was like, you're young. Like, you have me in all these other countries and you're drinking and shit. I'm thinking you're older. Like, I'm not thinking. Like, you know, like, I'm in love. Like, we're just so, when we met, it was like, we were friends, and then it was like, we're not friends. Like, no, you're not leaving my side ever. Right. And I'm like, cool, because you're not leaving my side ever either. Like, that would be it. And then it was just what it was.
Most people get to fall in love kind of gradually.
Yeah, no, this was something that, and I'm grown. You could ask anyone, you can go back and look at anything, you'll never know who I was dating. I was never a person that like that. So when it came down to Jared, and it's not like I've been with people where I've had to share them with the world too. So it's like, but I was low key, I don't give a fuck. But then I didn't care. Jared, I cared about so much. When he wanted to share me with the world, it was like, like I never wanted the world to be looking at me, because like I always was that person to be helping that person, not that person to be like, hey bitch, what do I gotta tell you?
Do you remember the first time he brought you out on stage?
Absolutely. I went Nicki Minaj tour. There was over like 40,000 people. He looked down at me and was like, he just would give me this face and he'd go like this. Now that's why you guys see me in my PJs.
That's what I was gonna say.
Every fucking, literally before I got here, I texted Adam, like, Adam, I'm coming how I always am when you see me. Which, when you've seen me, has been literally, as everyone, because I'm always a mess. But it's not my vibe. It's cool.
It wasn't on that Nicki Minaj tour, but I do remember being there at, I think it was the Lyrical Lemonade.
We were in London somewhere.
It wasn't I didn't.
No,
oh,
wait,
at
we were
Wireless.
overseas. That's a lot. I was like, the last time
he
I saw you,
probably
we were
did it
overseas.
there too, yeah, but that was a crazy thing to witness because you were just wearing pajamas.
It'd be like, I'm sitting there and I'm there to watch him. I'm there like, okay, to tell so-and-so he needs a break, he needs water, he needs this, I could just tell by his body language.
Right.
So it'd be like, that's why I'd go running back with the fucking, I'd knock everyone out the way to make sure and get his water and get his fucking towel and just, dab him up, whatever like that, make sure he's good. And that's my whole point to burying where I always was on stage. And then end up to him playing a fucking joke with me, because I had to, like, again, he had to teach me to, like, be able to do this, like, to be able to, like, share him.
Right.
Like, it was like, I share Juice Wrld with the world, and then I share Jared Higgins only with myself. You get what I'm saying? Now I don't have Jared Higgins, and I do have him with me, and I do have him in so many ways that no other one else can have him, but he's not technically in my person form here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So it's like, with that, everyone still has Juice Wrld. Even though he's gone, you still are going to have everything Juice Wrld ever. To that point, you know what I mean? Like, wanted, made, said, did, you have a good, like, a really crazy amount of it. You get what I'm saying? Where I don't have Jared Higgins, and it's a little bit fucked up in my head for me to, like, contemplate and, like understand how to go to a, like, social platform and be able to be like, okay, so now I'm thinking on the sense of Juice Wrld, and I'm like, this is not, you know what I mean? Like, I know Jared. I could tell you about Jared, and that's about it. You know what I mean? Like, Juice Wrld was what we're talking about. Yeah, he'd be on stage. He's an amazing performer. He's this, he's that. And we all know that, who's been around him. But with Jared, it's like his mind. That's where, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, that's what I'm going to have to share, because I don't know what else to tell you guys. Like, you guys already have Juice Wrld.
It sounds kind of like a dream where,
oh my God,
because it was like you meet him one day, all of a sudden your life changes so dramatically and you're 100% living this completely different lifestyle for whatever, like a year.
It was in the more sense of, it was absolutely everything that anyone that could ever be, like, you think of like a Disney princess and finding her prince. Like, it was like, so that was it. It was like the love, not, because like before that I was on Jets, I was on this, on that. I just was not, you didn't know me. No one knew me, you know what I mean? And that's what I wanted. I never wanted anyone to know me. I did everything, all of this stuff I've done before, but Jared did make every single one of my child dreams come true. Right. He would take me to places or this or that, and I always wanted to go to Sydney and see the thing. I have a video, you see me, we're on a yacht, and literally he goes, look, and it's at night, it's all lit up, and it's Sydney, like the whole, like 42 Wallaby Way, like Sydney, like from Finding Nemo or whatever. And yeah, I freaked the fuck out. I'm like screaming, crying, like, oh my God, like, and I would always thank him, like, thank you so much, like, I can't believe, like, you just made one of my childhood dreams, like, come true. Like, this is crazy. Right. So it was more along that, like, of just being so in love and so, like, knowing this person has me, knowing I have this person, that's it. And then that person just not being there. So that's where it's like hard for me to be like, Juice Wrld is still here, and he is still here, but Jared is not here, and it's fucking hard. You know what I mean? Where before it'd be like, well, Jared is right next to me, so this is fine, and Juice Wrld we just posted was doing this, and that, or he's dropping this album, or he's singing this about this. It'd be different.
Because when you first started hanging out with him, it's not like he was this mega star right away.
Yeah, and that's the one thing a lot of people forget is, like, we were all in coach together for a very long time. I'm literally.
But what's a very long time? Like a couple months?
Yeah, well, for him, you're thinking about it. He had 2 years in this game. Let's give him a long 2 years, right? Like a solid. And he's being ranked with people who were in this game for decades.
Yeah.
So like that's something people need to really sit back and think about what is coming out of their mouths. Like, because but he deserves every fucking inch of that, because that's really what he was, as everyone who was around him can be in awe of and say every day. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Yeah, no, that's something that, yeah. So a couple months but then also a couple months was regular first class, and then a couple more months was on jets everywhere. You know what I mean? But that's how fast his life was.
Right.
Like, and that's how much we had done. People think, oh, we just sat there like any other rapper or any other person and did this and that. Like, no, we worked every single day.
Why do you think that he ended up taking on such a ridiculous schedule? Was it pressure from the label, or was that just kind of him that he wanted to like tour nonstop / be in the studio every second that he wasn't touring /
That's where the two, I've actually had a huge thing when it comes down to trying to figure out in my head what, because Jared was tired.
Right.
Jared was tired. His body, at the end of the day, what I could say about when everything happened is just his body was tired. I was tired. My body has gone through a lot, but my body was tired. Like, I can only imagine what his brain would move 8 times faster than mine. I can only imagine. You know what I mean? Like, how tired he was. But when it came down to it, Jared had a lot of pressure from certain things. Yes, you know what I mean, that were accounted for already, like what you were saying. But Jared's work ethic was something that I would literally, I cannot even just say applaud. Like, I would kiss his feet like every night for it. Like, his work ethic was something that I've never seen anyone be able to do. One, the kid was never tired.
Right.
And it would blow my mind, because it's not like the kid is off this or that to make him tired. Like, when I found out he did drugs, I was like, how are you up? Like, you do that? Like, I had no, like, what are you talking about? You are poking me. I'm falling asleep, like, tired just because I'm tired, like, regularly here tired. And you are, this whole time, like, I didn't really, you are high and you're just up. What the fuck? Like, sorry, but like, what? But it was just his work ethic. He would make sure every day he would record, because that was his diary. And that's how, like, I want a lot of fans to realize that his, like, he did a lot of his touring and a lot of his stuff for his fans. Yes, it might have been difficult to say no because it was already planned, but he wanted to do every single part. Like, every single time, it was like, the highlight of his time on tour would be those times, those minutes performing. You know how we would go when we'd walk in almost late. We'd get there. Obviously, everyone else would be there and everything would be ready. Me and Jared would walk off the car. We'd have time to pray, walk off the car, pray, and he'd walk right onto the stage and start performing. Walk off of the stage, grab another drink, and walk into the car and go straight back to the hotel. We didn't, unless he had to do a meet and greet. And if he did a meet and greet, we went into a whole nother room, sat there by ourselves, and he would just play a switch. Like, he was such a we're so normal, like, we're just normal people. So it was like really, but like everyone else was normal too, obviously, but they knew more of the fame than we cared to even have.
Yeah,
in that sense.
Like, Jared he was doing certain things. Like, he's on tour. He's putting out music. He's obviously famous as fuck. But then, like, when you really looked at the lifestyle he was living, he was pretty much either in the studio or just posted in the house / hotel with you. He
never left the house or the studio. Like, he would go to the studio in the house.
Right. When I first met him, he was in the studio. Then
literally,
he's just in the house recording in the living room.
He was like, "This is the best thing in the world. I don't have to go anywhere." I don't know what had happened. Obviously, maybe it was just his thought process, how he wanted to be. But when I had met him, right before that, he had gone. I mean, I had met him. We chilled for like a week and a half or whatever, and that's where, not even a week and a half, probably like a week. I had gone to 2 shows of his, and then he made me come back to LA and go to Rolling Loud in the Bay, and that's when we had first popped out together. But at that time, it was like the day before. I was like, listen, I don't gotta go to Rolling. I can stay home. Like, this is not like something I have to do. Like, like, I'm cool with just chilling here. Like, if you take me out, like, and we pop out, like, we're popping out, like, together. Like, that's not going to be something that sits right. Like, unless I know that this is what, like, we're going to be, like, we're together.
Right.
And he was like, no, well, we're together. Like, you're coming. That's why I would just show up in my fucking PJs, because he'd make me come. Right. And I'd just be like, here I am. And then, yeah, with the whole bringing out on stage, I think it was what other artist do you know that has made it so clear about who their, like,
Never. Almost never.
We don't even know who's Annie. Who's Annie from Michael Jackson? Because that's the only other person I could think of. Other than that, you know who the fuck Ally Lotti is. He made it very clear. You know what I mean? With his music, with his life, with everything. So it's like, who did that? No one did that. Even the best didn't do that.
He just couldn't hide who he was. You know?
No, and that's the thing. He was so him. We're just such, and that's what, like, with his fans, with everything. We're just human. We're just like everyone else.
I'm
literally.
sure he had people tell him that this wasn't a great idea.
Literally, they would be like, "What do you guys do?" And I'm like, "We just chill."
But you know, there's definitely got to have been at least some people in his ear, I assume, who are like, "Bro, you don't want to co-sign a girl this hard. You might be over in a couple weeks."
Oh, well,
he was just doing whatever he was doing in the heat of the moment, right?
They had even examples from previous times with it. It's not like I was his first girlfriend.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Now, the reasoning too, me and Jared being as intertwined as we were, and we will ever be, is just because of that. And that's what I'm saying. It wasn't about money or I had all of this before that. I had all, and he was just learning this. So it was more like I was teaching him in a way, hey, and not just me, other people that were with us, you know what I mean? Like, hey, no, like, this is what you do with this. Or, okay, you're getting on a private jet. Give me your passport so I have to give it to, you know what I mean? Like little things like that people, you know, you go to sit down like at a nice dinner, people don't know a lot, and they're like, oh, is this what is this? And like, it's just a napkin, it's just wet, you undo it, you know what I mean? You put the water on it and it grows. Like, It's like things like that he was doing because he could and he needed to because he's Juice Wrld, but he didn't know. So I'm like, all right, well, this is like this. So like that was nothing. What it was the love. And that's why I feel like we're with everything, with how he was. So there was so many people like before, like, oh yeah, you shouldn't. There was not one time that the group was like, no. Like, they were like, Lotti, do you feel comfortable with that? Can you go up there?
Right.
And I'm like, I've danced in the middle of Memphis. I could do whatever the fuck. I'm good. I'm not scared of shit. Like, I might be to myself, but I'm gonna go do whatever, whenever. I don't care. It's just me.
Right.
And Jared loved that about me, but also wanted me to be home with him so that we could do it. You know, do whatever. He's like, oh, we're gonna go on tour here or there, and I'm like, well, fuck it. Call the babysitter. Like that. You know what I mean? For the dogs. Like, let's go. We gotta go. Ooh. So yeah.
How do you feel? I've seen various people try to kind of like paint a different narrative.
Oh, Lord, of course.
That you were the older woman potentially selling drugs, and that's kind of how you got into his orbit.
First of all, could you imagine me pulling up like with like the Porsche or the Rolls Royce, like trying to like on the corner, like trying to pick up like, I don't understand. When I look at that, I'm like, where, out of anyone around me and Jared, even though it wasn't even like that, where would you think that I would be the one able? I can't even leave Jared's side to go get my nails done. The nail lady would come to the home. My hair lady would come to the house. Massage to the house. Like, I was not allowed to leave unless I went and got a facial, and that was 15 minutes down the street. Like, other than that, I was not. So where was I? How could I? Anyone who knows that, like, I, one, was not allowed to leave Jared's side. Two, Jared would never, ever, ever, if he wanted something, as I learned, pretty much had no idea, in a sense, even though I thought I did. And I did to an degree, but learning now, I might not have. And that is one thing I do beat myself up about. It's like, I could have made sure that people were gone that shouldn't have been around, because that it was like, what, I don't know. Because when I said something, it wasn't, even if I might have been a cunt, or sorry, but that's what I was.
You can swear, it's totally
okay. I was like, that's the exact word I am and was. If I'm mean and I care about you, like, I'm gonna make sure that anything around you is what needs to be around you. Now, and that's even, I remember even when I first like went to Chicago and met Jared's mom. I explained to her, I was like, listen, you have your son, like, he's 19. Around everyone else he's around is 25, 26, 27, 28, 20. You know what I mean? Like, you need someone that cares for him, which they do, but in a way, like a motherly or a girlfriendly way, that he, like, his feelings or his self, that he's able to grow and make sure he's not being, which he wasn't in any way, but I've seen plenty of times people be manipulated or people be this or and they not know because they're young. And I'm like, look, you're young. And that's what I would tell Jay. I'm like, Jay, when I found out, I was like, I remember sitting him right down. I was like, sit down. We need to talk. Like, I was like, we need to talk right now. I was like, you just showed me your ID. Like, you made me call for my passport, my this, my that. Like, you know how old I am. Like, and I knew everyone else around us was my age or older. So I'm like, okay. And obviously the kid, I didn't think he was my exact age, but I'm thinking he's like 2 years maybe younger. He's drinking, so at least 21. You get what I'm saying in my head? But we're out of the country. I'm not thinking because this is my first time out of the country.
Right.
Like, I went all over the United States, never left the country, though. Like, when it comes, because I didn't know. I didn't care to. I mean, I cared to. I just didn't have anyone to go with, so I wouldn't go.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, again, I was having a girls thing come up. Other than that,
Leaving the country is a lot.
it's a lot.
Especially for a young person.
And I went by myself. I was so scared. Like, I was like, stay on the phone with me. I don't know, like, walk me through this, like, custom things. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. It was scary.
Right.
But, and I ended up getting really great at it, and it's fine, so it doesn't matter. But it's just very things that, when it comes down to our age, I remember being like, come here. You gotta, like, look, you're gonna be with me, but you're gonna have to grow. While you grow, just respect me and know that I'm here, like, to make sure you're good. Like, so whatever's wrong, whatever's bothering you, you tell me. Whatever you need to do, like, as a man, you let me know. Like, you're good. Just don't disrespect me. Like, if you're with that blah, 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 let me know. And you guys are good. Or I'm coming, or what the fuck it is. I don't give a fuck. Like, I want you to live like a king. You deserve to live exactly how you are. You deserve this. Like, your aura, one, and your talent is exhausting to even. It's so beautiful. It like takes like no one makes like art like he does. Like, so it's just like, okay, you deserve to be treated like Picasso. Like, so someone, you know what I mean? Someone crazy you wouldn't think of, like, whatever you want.
You just wanted to kind of nurture the talent that was oozing out of him.
Yeah, and make sure that the person that the talent was coming out of is good.
Right.
You know what I mean? But good in like, you're good. You do what you want. I'm here. Like, I'm here for you. Whatever you need, I'm here. But if, you know what I mean, you want to do this, go do that. I just asked of these two things, that's it. As long as those two things are good, we're good.
Were you, like, I'm assuming that you had done drugs prior to all this. Did you get a lot more into doing drugs? Because in particular, all this touring and stuff, I mean, it's kind of hard. And
well, that's the thing.
Caused a lot of people to get into drugs.
Yeah, that's the thing that I always, like, I always was really confused with, was that, like I said, even with Jared, I would be like, when I would find out he'd be high off the, like, because when I remember the first thing that clicked in my head when I met Jared, I was sober. I had ended up in the ER. Aside from this, before I ever met Jared, I had an eating problem, and I just wasn't eating right. I was in the ER probably like a week or two before. I had stopped doing my drug of choice then, and like it was probably like a good 3 days. I had been like officially no sick, no this, no that, just sober, fine. And it was something simple I could just do myself. You know what I mean? I was just sick for like a day or two. And well, I didn't feel good, and I felt like that was probably why or whatever. I was little then. Now I know what really doesn't feel good and what really does. You know what I mean? Like, so I remember being with him being like, wow, all I'm doing is smoking, and you're still fucking fun to be around. Like, where someone else would be like, all right, I'm going to call my person and grab this for me, because this is what I need, and I don't know you, so I don't know. I'm not going to say anything and just go do my own thing by myself. And I've always been like that with everything. But then when it came down to Jared and touring, he would be up. And I'm like, how are you up? And then when he would want to go to sleep is when I would be up. And then it was just weird. Like, Jared wouldn't let me even drink coffee. Like, when it comes to, I wasn't, no uppers were, no, that was nothing. No.
He just didn't feel right about it?
He just didn't, I don't know what it was. He just was like, I don't know if like from before, something had happened before me. I don't know. All I know is that uppers were a no. Like, so, and I was like, well, I'm fucked. Like, I don't know how the fuck you think I'm going to stay up with you. Like, right. You're Energizer Bunny. You're just up. Like, and you expect me to be that up with you, and I'm not. So I remember just being like, what the hell? And I was okay. I made it for a minute, and then it was the Tokyo trip. We got home. It was like a 22-hour flight or something. And when we got home, I was broken. Like, I was so tired. I didn't eat anything in Tokyo, and we had to go right back out to Australia. And I was like, you know what? Like, and then I missed my dogs. My dogs had just, like, finished their whatchamacallit, so they were coming home, and I got them a whole B&B for a couple months without me being there. It was just, like, my best friend there, like, watching them. And I'm like, oh, my God, like, I wish I could be around them. Like, Jared, like, you need, like, I feel like I need a break. You don't need a break? Like, okay.
Right.
Let's go. Like, and I went and I go. We're in Australia, everything's fine. I used to drink a lot. I would just drink and back before I ever met Jared. I would just drink a beer, be fishing, you know what I'm saying? Just little Ally. And then, then I went to a point where while we were on tour after Australia, came back, because Australia obviously just, it was a beautiful thing. But being tired and being there, I realized I was like, I'm not enjoying things I should be enjoying. Like, everyone else is having a good time. Why am I not having a good time? Not having a good time, but, like, why am I not, like, as positive or as up right now as like, what's going on? And then I'm like, all right, we come home. On the way home, I think we had stopped somewhere in Philly. I had spoke to my mom, my biological mom, which I said had me when she was 15. After that, I have, like, 2 other mothers that had taken me in. Loved them to death. One had passed away. One is still here. They're both really helped me make me that person that I was today. But my biological mom, she had called me and told me that my grandma, who has had cancer like 4 times already, this was her 4th time, and she had serious cancer. Like, I remember when I was born, she had no hair. And then, you know what I mean, like, just very, very serious stages of cancer 4 different times and 4 different things.
Wow.
At 4 different places on her. And she's still here to this day. Shout out, Graham. Love you. You're the best. But literally, my mom had told me, I guess she had cancer again, and that kind of set me. It was a really big trigger. I was just tired. I was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, normally I'd run. I'd go somewhere. You know what I mean? Go to LA if I was in just home in Memphis, if that happened, or go wherever. You know what I mean? Like, run away for a little bit, just party for a little bit, and then come back home, and I was fine. And this wasn't a possibility. You know what I mean? I had to go ahead and be ready, be good for Jared, be here, and Jared would only let me do what he did. Not only that, Jared was very, if I tried to help him, and I always helped him, and I did get through to him when it came down to mental health. But he didn't, if you didn't go through what because there were so many people that, like, were like, I don't know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? That if you didn't go through what he went through, or you weren't doing the things that he was doing, that he would take your opinion, but it was like, you don't know my devils. You don't know my demons. You don't know what's going on because you don't know this. And I'm like, I'm going to go through this with you. Like, you're gonna understand that I get every fucking what you're saying, and you're gonna be good. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna get good. You're gonna clean. You're gonna this. You're gonna that, and you're gonna be fine. And that's the thing is, he had mental illnesses, where you can't just take someone who's doing drugs and put them as, oh, they're a drug addict. Like, he had mental illness problems. Like, that's when you do that and you have drugs involved. If you take away those drugs, a lot of the time that mental illness is going to take over and be even worse.
Right.
Than the person being on drugs.
And that was one thing that he communicated to me. It was basically like that he had a drug problem for like damn near as long as he could remember. Like talking about high school and shit. Like,
I remember the first time he told me he even did the first drug. I remember we've talked about everything we've talked about. So it's just like, but that's what I mean by I had to really learn him and be there. And I'm going through this with you. I'm here. Look, you see what, like, but I also had nothing. I'm not saying that because he would get upset and he would be like, see, I'm the reason why you do this. And I'm like, okay, well, no, I did this because I was upset and about something with my life that you have nothing to do with. You know what I mean? You can't help my like, you're not God. You know what I mean? Like, and he would sit there and he'd be like, once I get enough money and I get this, that, and I'm going to find the cure to cancer. He would always say, he's like, I'm going to find the cure to cancer and I'm going to make sure that this never happens to a person. Like, and go on and on and on. And I would just like, I remember one time I cried. I was like, you are literally like the kindest soul
right,
ever. And
for real?
ever. Like, I mean, I'm nice and all, but like, holy shit, you're fire. You know what I mean? Like, I was definitely always taken back by him. So yeah, yeah. When it came down to anything.
When you think about like the last couple days before he passed, like was he particularly frazzled from being on the road? Was his mind state like was he really like more stressed out than usual around that time period?
When it came down, it's hard for me. That question would be a lot. It'd be answered, I think, better from someone else because we were so in. I could still answer. It's going to be just by a different way. We were just so intertwined at that point that it's
hard to see the forest from the trees.
No, I knew. He knew and I knew. That's how intertwined. He knew, I knew. I didn't know what it was. I remember I would come out running outside in my fucking towel and my hair up. Get off the fucking quad. Like, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was going to happen. He didn't know what was going to happen, but he would say, like, to the point that I remember we were in the shower and I was sitting there and I would always watch him. I'd wash his hair. I'd do everything. You know what I mean? And I remember sitting down on our little seat thing in the shower, and we had like a skylight thing, and like it came down on him while he was like rinsing his hair out. And I was like, and I just started bursting into tears. And this is when we first got back from doing that last tour. That was like, I would just started like crying out of nowhere. And he was like, you know, I know. He's like, I know, and it's going to be okay. I didn't say shit. Like, I just, for some reason, like something overtook me. I just was like, you're not going to be here. Like, to the point, like, I mean, I've said it to him, even, I'm like, no. Even to that night before, I'd be like, Jared, give me blah, 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 blah. I don't know, like, and we'd go, you can ask anyone. I'd always be, like, I'm yelling, I don't care. Like, I want to make sure you're good. I want to know. I'm going into the studio, get to bed, get in the shower, order some food. We're ordering food, you're eating, like, yelling, I don't care.
You just felt
because I need to know he's okay.
But you felt like he was burning the candle on both ends, particularly bad?
It was something that he was definitely just, you know, he was, I don't know, because the last day I was not there. He made me go, he was like, we're going to Chicago for a minute, go and get your hair, go and get your, like, your facials, this and that, so that you're good while we're there. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, so the nail lady's gonna be here later. We always got our nails done together. We'll get our nails done, and then my massage lady's coming after, and then during the day I was out getting my facials, getting my hair, things like that done. By the time I got home, he was in the studio, but he was really high, and it was like daytime. Like, we need to pack daytime, like, because in a little bit we're gonna have to leave, go on the jet around, like, you know, 8ish. I remember he just wasn't paying attention, and I was like, you need to start getting ready because I'm gonna be getting these things done, you know, right after I get my nails done. You gotta get yours, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get my massage, and then it's like, you know, hustle so we can get there on time. And then I remember getting my massage done, and after that it was like, where are you? Like, and he was upstairs with his friends, and then in the studio with his friends, and then I went off. I was like, get in the room. I was like, shower, get in the shower, turn on the shower. We're ordering us food. We waited, got the food. Like, I was like, no. Like, shower, we're good. You showered, like, and now come to find out, you know, the night before he had told me, because I had fallen asleep. We were supposed to get tattoos. He had gotten a tattoo. And I was supposed to get it right after. And he knows, like, he doesn't, at that point in time, I was not yelling at him, but I was nagging him so much about his health that him telling me, oh, the doctor came, or oh, this or that, because I needed the doctor, it was something that he'd be like, he would think I'd be like, see, I fucking told you. You need this, and that. You know what I mean? So I think it was like he didn't want me to win type of deal when it came down to that. So he told me the next day. He didn't wake me up when the doctor came the night before. And that day, then the next day, we're getting ready for the plane and everything. That's when he tells me, when I had brought him into the room and I'm yelling at him about, like, get in the shower, your food's on the way, like, go lay down until then, like, let's lay down, put something on the TV, I'll pack for us, it isn't anything, like, whatever. And he was still in good spirits, fully. He was just not feeling good. And, yeah, after that, it was just, you know, he got to it, you know, we fell asleep for a little bit. We were super late for the plane, but fell asleep. When he was good, I was good, everyone was good. You know what I mean? From what I knew, but again, I didn't know a lot of stuff had happened the night before. But from what I knew, everything was good. And then we go on the plane. Everyone knows I'm terrified of being on planes in general, previously from this, but obviously this is a huge thing. But even before this, they knew Jared always got the plane with the bed. I always have it made. I would always just go right to sleep. And that was it. I had my little headphones on. I'm probably watching Moana. Leave me alone. Like, I'm going to bed. I don't like to be on a plane because, I mean, there's been times Jared's been flying the plane. There's been times, like, it's just very scary sometimes.
He would make the pilots let him fly it?
No, the pilots would let him fly.
Really?
Oh, yes. And I'd wake up and I'm like, what's going on?
I'm thinking of, like, the way they let, like, a little kid fly the plane where you don't really have any chance of the...
No. We're on a private jet. Yes, there's serious little buttons there that they just let Jared just...
Wow.
Jared Higgins, sure. And I'm like, I let him fucking fly too.
That's charm right there.
And that's what I'm saying. When he would just go like this to me and I'd be in my PJs, ugly as hell, I'd walk out and be like, whatever you want, babe. Right. Literally just it was just Jared.
Wow.
Literally. But with everything, just how his talent was, it was with everything.
Wow.
24/7. I would always say that to him. I'm like, you are a fucking performer at all times. Not that you're fake. No, he just was so energetic, so him, that it was like, you're just great to watch at all times. And I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so good.
His life was like a movie playing out in front of you, right?
Just not even like a life. Fuck the life. Fuck everything that was around him. Like, I've seen that plenty of times before. If anything, he was most humble about it.
Right.
It was you. You as your person. You're just funny. You're this. You're that. You're saying this random. Like, the randomest things that made the most sense, but nonsense, but sense would come out of his mouth, and you're like, we gotta do that.
But did it really, really occur to you that just something was going to have to change if he was going to have a long life and career, that this was just so not sustainable?
When it came down to the way that a lot of things were, when it came down to, when we got our house, I wanted it to be just me and Jared. You know what I mean? I wanted it to be, I needed him to learn that. But again, it was also like, you have to think about it, Jared's age, it's like sending your son away to college. He's going to be in a dorm with all of his friends. He's going to be, right. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to take away his friend. I didn't want to be that person to be like, no. And I would sit there and yell all the time. You could ask anyone. I'd be like, there's too many energies in this house.
I feel like it was kind of a thing that he was even having like people from Chicago come out because he just needed friends, because he was sort of, once you get to that point as an entertainer and you're that famous and shit, it's kind of like weird to just have friends. Like a lot of people don't want to just be hanging out 24/7 while you're making all this money and doing all this. Like, people want to have their own lives, but he needed people around. Right?
I mean, that's how it is even with me. Just, I always have I'm like random people, like not random people, but like I have a certain 2 people, and it's like, okay, well, I have you guys down at this and that, like as like people that I can pay, but you're my only you guys know. You guys are the only people that could tell the story from the past year and a half, really, other than myself. Like, if something was to happen to me, just how something happened to there's only a couple people that could sit here and tell you what actually, you know what I mean? So it's like, you guys are my friends, you know what I mean? But you also are on payroll. Then that's what Jared, it would be the kind of same thing, you know what I mean? It'd be like, they definitely want to come out, and that's the thing. Yeah, a lot of his friends would want to come out from Chicago or this or that, but they had to talk to me. I had to talk to them. Like, it was like I was like a mom. It was like I had to. Okay, no. Everyone knew if there was girls coming through that they knew their place, and that they would go straight to your room, and straight out, and that was it. There was no girls were hanging around the house. No, never on the first floor. Like, they're allowed to come through and go straight up to the second floor. Which was your room, your area was up there.
Wait, why are girls coming over to go to his room?
No, not my room, not our room.
Oh.
Our room was on the first, like their room, like the guys.
Oh, the other guys.
Whoever wanted to be there, whatever friends.
I thought you were talking about some freaky shit for a second.
No.
I was like, oh, really?
Jared could have whatever he wanted, but that was not what he wanted. So there was a huge...
I'm not going to pry into that, but that's interesting.
Yeah, he could have... Jared was his own... To me, he was my king. He could do whatever he wanted, but with...
That's a real woman right there.
But I was his queen. He treated me just as his queen. So there's a dynamic there that...
Right.
You get what I'm saying? There's like, okay, I get it. Okay, I get it. Okay, cool.
I'm looking at you in a totally different light now. That's cool.
You understand? He was my everything. So I let him just be like his everything. He could do whatever, but not whatever. And that was not my choice. That was his choice. After learning what he wanted. You get what I'm saying? You have to let people fucking know you don't know what you want until you fucking know.
Let me ask you this. I've said this about him a couple times on the podcast, which is that basically, like, I wish that he had been able to have at least like a couple years where he had been like an adult and not a fucking famous rapper. Just in terms of his adjustment. I wish that he had like known what it was like to just be the guy going to parties without being the fucking superstar at the party.
That's the problem though, because it even rubbed off onto me where I don't go out.
But you were a normal person for a long time.
Because I got that whole, now I can't.
Now
I'm sitting here and I'm like, I always have to have someone with me, because if not, one, I can't fully be myself. Like, bitch, if I want to fight you, I can't fight you. Before, Jared would send his bodyguard everywhere with me because he knew that I was going to fight everything that was passing by me, because it was like, what the fuck do you want from Jared? You know what I mean? Like, I was like, what do you want? Come through me first and then we could talk. You know what I mean? Like, and that was the joke. It was always me being kidnapped and that I was his bodyguard, because in the beginning, he didn't have bodyguard. In the beginning, and I'm like, I've been with people, like, around people that were very, like, not as big as you are, right? Even right now, where's your stuff? Where's your bodyguard?
A lot of people want a bodyguard because that makes them feel like they're important enough to have a bodyguard.
No, Jared to the point where I would have to wait outside the guy's bathroom, or he would go into the girl's bathroom with me, like, because if not, like, he'd be sitting there pissing with his dick out and someone would want to come up and, like, have a fucking, can you sign my, and I'm not playing, I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. And like, or it would be the funniest thing. We used to literally shout out Drake. I don't know why we made this up, but everyone would be like, "Is that Juice Wrld?" And then like we'd look at each other and like be like, you know, like on some like undercover shit, like, "Are you ready?" And then we'd be like, "No, it's Drake," and like we would run, like, because we just didn't feel it, and get in the car and dip. Yeah, I don't know why. Like, we just would always say that shit. So now it's like, people are like, Ally Lotti or Lotti, like, da-da-da. And I, like, go to look and be like, look for him and be like, it's Drake. And then, no, it doesn't work like that anymore.
Right.
I just have to sit there and be like, hi, how are you? I love you guys. Don't make me cry. Okay, gotta go, bye. Like,
right.
So I don't go out. And he never really wanted to go out either, is the thing. Like, you have to remember that kid was the kid that, when we went to New York, he didn't want to go and be like, oh, what table is there? Oh, what place to eat is there? Or what this or what that?
A lot of rappers start playing that game right away.
He was like, where is the GameStop and how much money do they take? Can I buy the GameStop? Or like, that's what we spent that's what he spent money on. Like, yes, we spent money on clothes because we like were very, very into a lot of fashion, and like a lot of our fashion came from previous older collections. Like, in general, he would have people come over that would only have things from one way. Like, and I have like 3 Chanel purses that he had got me from 1993, because that's when I was born.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? Or things like that. You know what I mean? Like, he was very, like, he thought about things in that sense. If he was gonna spend money, not on bottles. Or he didn't drink. And if he drank, I would get so pissed. Like, and like, you guys are getting him to drink, but yet I have to take care of that later. Like, stop. Just no. Don't get him that drunk. Don't let him have that bottle. Pour him a drink. He's Juice Wrld. Like, get up and pour him a drink, or don't give him a drink. Don't give him a bottle. I get it, but no, I'd get very upset.
I mean, so I don't want to like drag you through talking about that day or anything, but after that, I mean, how would you describe basically like how you began, like how you, I don't know, tried to make it through that time period? Because like presumably, you know, you just knew that you needed time before you could even think about, you know, rebuilding your life or starting to become normal again. Like what did you actually do? Did you just sort of like sequester yourself alone and just try to, I don't know. It's hard for me to fathom.
Yeah, no, I don't want you to even try to. And that's why I stayed quiet for so long, is because I knew what I was going through was not for a
audience.
not even an audience. It's like you would need like a rated R, like on like what the fuck was happening within like even if I give you a 4 minute, like a 4-day time frame was like clips of me like having like, wait, I guess, because at that point you don't tears aren't real. Tears aren't what come out. You're moaning. You're so hurt that like you're just, like screaming. Not screaming out of anger, just you get sad and tears come out. When you're that sad, like there's nothing that comes, or like when you go through something like that traumatic, you don't have, like, tears don't suffice. Tears aren't what comes out of your body when you feel that. I didn't know what kind of pain that was. It was different. And glimpse of just like a 4-day period was, I was not allowed to even to this day, I'm barely allowed to use the bathroom alone or be by myself alone.
So you always try to have people around you, especially
at first I was forced to have people around me.
But who was even making that call?
Me, myself, anyone who saw me.
So you're scared of yourself in a way?
Oh, I mean, if you would have let me climb into that fucking casket, I would have gone. You could have buried me alive in there. Me, my dogs, and Jared, I would have been A-okay.
Wow.
A-okay. Like, if you bring it up right now and you let me into that building, that's let them go. I'll be A-okay. Let me in there.
Like, oh, man, I can only imagine.
So the first, 4 days possibly was just me. I just remember, like, clips of me, like, grabbing onto people's collars and being like, it's okay. Like, this has nothing to do with you. Like, I just gotta go. Like, this is not it. I gotta go.
You really didn't want to be there?
No. Even now, I'm here for my dogs and for the fans, like, and to make sure that this story is legit, like, what it needs to be, and who needs to be reminded how happy this person was, how happy, hopefully, if I continue doing what he wants for himself and for myself, will be that happy or positive. But no, if I didn't have if I didn't have my dogs, and if something happens, you have to put me, the dogs, put us all down. I'm good. We're good. But
then at the same time, like, you have a fucking nation of millions of kids who, like, basically are looking to you for answers.
And that's the only reason why
they're upset.
Right. And that's the only reason why I am here. I look at my dogs and I'm like, I know you miss your dad too. This sucks. But, people know you. I, like, talk to my dogs, dude. I literally am like, people know you. Like, I look at Kaplan and I'm like, and Kaplan will look like Jared. His eyes will turn, like, straight to Jared's eye color. It's ridiculous. It'll be like this warm, like, bourbon honey, like, color, which was Jared's eyes fully, like, in the sun. And, like, even Scheme, Jake, a bunch of them, they've said it on several occasions without me. This is something that I kept in my head. Because I'm like, Ally, stop, like, just keep it in your head. Don't, you don't have to, you sound like you're reaching. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, don't do that. And I wasn't reaching at all. It'd be people, like, they'd literally be like, Ally, look. And, like, Gabe would show me, like, hey, I just looked this up this morning and you said that. Like, I have the screenshots of me sending it to so-and-so that I was just looking at Kaplan's eyes and they look like Jared. And, like, screenshot, and shows me, and I had said it because the sun was in his eyes, and I'm saying it to myself. I'm like, oh, look. I was like, hey, Jay, like, I'll be like, da-da-da, like, and because I know that it would be Jay's eyes, not Kaplan's eyes. But I'd sit there and, like, talk with him. I'm like, sorry, guys. I know this sucks, but people know you. You gotta fucking be here. Like, so, and I'm just talking to my dogs. Like, I'm like, you gotta be here, because if you're not here, bitch, I'm not here. So figure it out. Like, when River was just super sick, I had to, like, it would get me sick. Like, I went to it was probably like 8 times I've had seizures this past year alone.
Really?
Stress-induced seizures. I'm not epileptic, nothing. I've been clean since clean completely with everything other than weed here or there. And it's really, I smoke, you see, I took a little bit and I got super high.
Right.
Like, literally other than what the doctors have me on is, I think it was October, like, completely, like, perfectly, like, peeing. I was like, I'm gonna just my first like YouTube. It's gonna be me, like, peeing in a cup, so everyone can shut up, like, and leave me alone.
Because everybody, like, assumes that you're gonna medicate
Well, this is the
Right.
thing. Not only did I not, my thing was I knew I needed to slowly make my way down from where I was. One, I was never, there was 2 times that I felt that I was high during that many months, right? And during those 2 times, I went and bawled my eyes out because I was high and I felt like, oh my God, like, where's Jared? You know what I mean? Like, it was too triggering. So anything else that I did was so that I wasn't getting sick or that I wasn't. And then I finally got myself to a place where I was like, okay, you can take this and this medication. Well, do this, this, this. And it's from your doctor and you're supposed to be and this and that. And then you also have to remember just how Jared had. You can't just take someone off drugs and not get their mental health checked out. You know, I have to take my like different mental health problem medications so that also, you know what I mean? It's like, all right. And then everyone's like, oh my God, you're so skinny. And I'm like, yeah, if you knew me my whole life, you know that this was normal and that when I was either pregnant or on drugs or on this or stressed, I gained this weight. You get what I'm saying? Like, people who knew me and saw me, they were like, they knew exactly when I was, or when I wasn't this, or when I was that. They'd be like, look at or look at this, and I'm like, this is supposed to be a secret, so don't say anything to anyone.
So wait, so when were you pregnant?
There was 3 separate times.
Wow.
But because of stress, because of everything going on, there was obviously different complications with different ones. But the first, I'll never forget, that's where I remember, like, my mom flew in, and Lexi flew in. And I remember being like, and I was like, to the point where I was so distraught, I walked into the hotel room, like, not into a hotel room. I walked into the hotel and I sat on the floor. I went to a random level. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what was going on. I just like went into like a I don't know. Yeah, think about it. I never even was not with Jared because he saw us always together. I was not even alone from his body for like the most put together, maybe a day. If you put all the hours of all the times we weren't together, maybe a day. Wow. Like, other than him being in the same house as me or being like in the studio and I'm in our room watching TV. You know what I mean? And that was the thing. I was never, we would watch what Jared wanted or like what we like kind of agreed on, which was Jared wanted. And like, I like scary movies and he wouldn't watch them via where Caroline came from. Cause I'd always be in there watching Caroline and he'd be like, I'm like, come on, it's a cartoon. It's not even scary. And he'd be like, no, I'm scared. He watched like it once, I think. I got it. And he like, after like 45 minutes of it, he was like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna make you something. And that's when he made Caroline. Right. And I was like, okay. Like, still watch the movie.
Do you ever think about how different your life would be if you did have a baby right now? His baby?
It would be now because okay, so I don't know my real dad. When I was 20, I found out my dad, who I thought was my dad my entire life, wasn't my real dad. Uh-huh. And I didn't care to find who my real dad was because I was like, my family's already crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, and I already moved like 7 states away from you guys. So I did not want to be anywhere near any kind of family. So like, I don't want to know. Just let me know their last names so that like, if I ever meet anyone, I know that like, that's not my brother. You get what I'm saying? Like, I need to know. Yeah. Other than that, like, cut. I'm good. I don't think you deserve Ally Lotti as a fucking daughter. I don't know you. You know what I mean? So I let that be. But when it comes down to kids, I was always like, I want to make sure that my child had a father. And that's why I was like, and I never wanted a child until Jared was like, no, like, you're having, like, this is what's happening. Right. And like, no, like, it wasn't like a choice. It was like, this is what's happening. And right. I was like. And you were on board with that, just like you're on board with everything else? I was like, whatever you say, king, literally. Like, but like, think about things. I was like, Jared, think about it. Like, you see how we have to be with the dogs and always have all this stuff for the dogs? Like, we have to be like 80 times more attentive and actually be there. And like, no one can live with us and this and that and blah, blah. And he was like, no, I'm ready. Let's do it. As soon as let's do it. And I'm like, I ate a lot of spaghetti now. Like oh my, it'd be like one thing. I'd always like re-eat the same shit, and it'd just be like, oh my god, I'm done. But yeah, it'd just be a huge ordeal. But we'd try to keep it, and that's why to be in my baggy clothes and my baggy PJs, or with a purse covering my tummy or whatever it was, because it was not just the only people that knew were me and Jared, and maybe 2 other people, and I mean, now if you ask them, I'm sure that they'll, you know what I mean. But even then, they knew not to say anything. There's a lot of things that people still don't know about me and Jared that, like, when it comes down to, like, us and our relationship and, like, everything that only a couple people were there for that, like, know are legitly real. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Obviously my OBGYN, you know what I mean? Like, but, like, people that, like, other than that, like, that were around us, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm so weird with energy. I don't want people to be like, oh, well, and I'm like, bro, this is his child. This is for him. He chose this. Like, but I chose it because, yes, he's going to be a great father. You know what I mean? Like, yes, he'd be this or that. Yes, that would be amazing for him to, if that's what it takes for him to slow down, is I have to, because I'm always scared. Like, I love kids. I love kids so much. And I love, like, the beforehand of thinking about kids and, like, making them. But, like, as a woman, the process of it, shout out, because I cannot, it scares me. Yeah. I'm, like, scared to, like, that whole.
It's nothing to play around with.
It's not. No, I know.
Yeah, like, seeing how much my girl's life changed.
Yeah, no, but I already was, like I said, before this, I made up a life, so I was like, okay, at night is when I go and do everything I have to do. During the day, I could be a normal, like, mommy, I was like a normal fur dog mom, you know, made sure I went and walked them around, make sure I went and fished, like, whatever they want, I did it, you know what I mean? Which obviously is, like, a little fucking baby percentage of what a child would be, you know what I mean? But I was like, Jared, do you see this? Like, are you able to, if I go out to, like, go get my facial, do you remember to let the dogs out? Do you remember? Okay, so you let the dogs out. Okay, cool. He could, you know, this or that, or blah, blah, blah. He would remember and do more. So I'm like, all right, if you're telling me that this is what it would take for you to just, all right, here's my body. It's yours anyway. Like, sure. You know what I mean? Like, we're having a kid, but you're going to be a good dad. Like, you're going to be a good dad. That's why. Because, like, I obviously am, like, I'm good at being a mom, but, like, I got to do it. Right. And that scares me.
That's a lot.
You know what I mean? Like, it scares me. That just the process scares me. So when I think about it and I think about Jared, like, if I had his child, I don't know. Obviously, it would make me the happiest person in the world if I still had a piece of Jared. You know what I mean? One.
But it would be so much harder to move on. Not that moving on even seems realistic.
Yeah, it's not even something that I could even fathom right now, because you have to think about it. Even if I was to think about, like, I hop online and Jared's photoshopped in the pictures I took yesterday so well that I think that he's in it. You know what I mean? Like, it mind fucks me. Like, I'm not, like, the second I pick up this phone and put in my thing, I am Jared is still here. Jared is literally my boyfriend now. He's my fiance. He's back to be my fiance. It's back to normal. Even though it's RIP at the end of the picture, he's still every fucking thing. Okay, I remember everything that happened where I was right here when this happened. You know what I mean? So it's like, I put it down.
I mean, yeah, she just showed her, like, tagged photos, and it's like,
it doesn't. And that was my Explore page.
Right.
That wasn't even my tag. If I went on my tagged, it would be like, and I love my fans for it all, because it all does bring back a lot of good memories when I have the ability to go on and do, which is now, you know what I mean, that I'm better in a sense. I'm not best. I'm not anywhere near, you know, any happiness that I had before this, even before Jared. But I'm getting a little bit better with myself via why we even went with what I went with for my drop. Like, I took my old tattoo that I got when I felt like I was free about, like, 7 years ago when I did dance, and I had, like, all this money, I had anything, I could do whatever I wanted, stopped dancing and, like, came out here, went there, just lived life for a little bit, and took that person and put everything that I, like, on my tattoos, like my hair, like at that point in time when we drew it up, you know what I mean? Just I felt like my tattoos are my experiences because I have so many of them. They all mean something. And throughout that process of when I had gotten that tattoo versus what my body looks like now with tattoos or with what they mean or whatever it is, I was like, add it all. Add everything that is mine that looks like me, and let's make it. Jared would always like joke with me and be like, "You're just a little anime thing, like, and you little who, like, and poke my nose and like." We just thought it was the cutest thing. You know what I mean? Like, it was like his perfect thing. He's playing video games this whole time. Like, he's at the club with his Switch. He's like, it's okay. I got a Who at home. Like, I got a little anime thing. Like, I'm playing her right now. You know what I mean? Like, so he loved it. It was fine. But like, I was always like, let's just make this anime. It's what we would watch. It's what we would like vibe with, and like make it just have everything good and bad that I've gone through. So let's just show it with the tattoos and make it.
It's complicated for you. Like at some point you have to start making money, right? And I remember you getting like a lot of backlash from even doing like some Fashion Nova posts, right?
A lot of people, and I don't look at, you have no idea when I tell you, I follow myself and Jared on Twitter and like everything else. I don't know. Like I know that so many things and so many people have said things about me, but because I know that I know the truth, just how like this is right here, like to the point that like I've signed things that it's like, you know, the truth so much that like, hey, make sure that like everything is like always positive because this was a very traumatic situation you went through. You know what I mean? Like, I know. So like with that said, I'm like, I don't need to know what anyone that doesn't know, and I don't want you to know.
So you try to just avoid seeing any kind of the criticism?
I not even try to avoid, I just don't. I really don't. If I have to post something, I go and post. If I don't, and that's the thing, it's like you guys have to remember, I didn't need any of Jared's money. Never once, other than when he had to rebuy me everything, which was not a problem. We could have sent for my stuff, you know what I mean? Which would have still been all these Louis bags, all these this, all these, it would have been no different. Well, I can't say no different because he had gone and really had enough money to do whatever he wanted, and one of those things was shopping and making sure we matched and this and that, you know what I mean? But aside from that, I already, like I was saying, I already had a good amount of things. I already had a good amount of whatever I wanted to have, you know what I mean? I had my dogs. I'm simple, but like not, like I'm not impressed by a lot because I've already seen a lot, and that was before Jared. But then Jared showed me even more because it was with love. It was with like, no, this is for you. Like, you don't have to think, like, no, this is like, I love you, and like, I'm going to show everyone, and like, I'm going to be here and do all that. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I definitely loved that part of our relationship where there was no second thought on like, you know, Jared loves Ally, you know, Ally loves Jared. So at the end of the day, I don't think that you could really, whatever you would say, oh, Ally killed the, or Ally is the, or Ally, you guys just got the police reports. I'm pretty sure I saw that just recently.
There's got to be some ugly shit that's been said, right?
Literally, I mean, with the things that have been said,
I'm sure it's worse than I've seen, you know?
They've come from such false, like, even when people tried to make documents, it was like, if you know what the document is supposed to be looking like, you're like, it's like giving it's like me like giving like a 13-year-old like court papers that aren't real, that just look like court papers, and it's like, here you go, now go, it's real. And it's like, no, I just printed it off my computer right here, and it's of someone else, and I just how people can Photoshop of this or that, they could make it, or they could have it from someone's name when I don't even have anything in that same state, and that person is born in 1980 something, and I am born in 1999. You know what I mean? They take out those things and add other things to make it look like it could be me, when in reality, we can go through my whatchamacallit right now, and I have a Tennessee ID, and I have a Jersey passport. So other than that, there's nothing connecting me to any other states at all, which is where other information I had saw came from. Oh, Southern California. I'm like, I don't think I've ever even been, I think the most, is this Southern California?
Yes.
This here? Like,
LA, yes.
I figured like down there would be Southern California.
It's still SoCal. Although
Right, but it's like not.
you could drive
like,
2 hours north and you're in like mid California.
Okay.
But so
see,
San Diego, LA is still Southern California.
Oh, okay. See me, I'm Jersey. It's so small. We're like Cape May is like southern, and I'm like where I am's like LA-ish. I guess it's like southern, but almost right there in the middle. And then it's like the middle to the top is completely different. Like
This
Jersey's
is a big
different.
ass state.
Yeah,
People don't.
I didn't realize
because motherfuckers don't go past San Francisco, but there's a whole bunch after that.
No, there's
too.
so much. It's ridiculous. You know how many times I've gone to go random places for photo shoots in LA? Not LA. I say LA like if LA is California.
Right.
No, it's been like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and I'm like, what is actually going on here? And we end up in the desert somewhere, and I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, we could throw some clouds out here and have a good time. And that's how we end up having his like birthday party. He was like, I remember for his birthday party, and we go there every year. You know what I mean now, to obviously celebrate him, because I'm not good with going to like graveyards. I'm not, like I said, I'd climb right in and just chill. Like I'm it's to this day. So I just don't. I can't yet. I can't. Well, one, I can't even get on a plane. So me getting there is a whole nother issue. But like, not can't get on a plane. I'm allowed to go on a plane completely.
You're gonna at some point, but it's.
I'm gonna try to make this one's Rolling Loud right now. It's. I have everything set. I just need to get into the airport without having a panic attack and dying or having a seizure, and then getting on the plane and not dying or having a seizure, and getting off and being okay, and then getting back on and coming back this way. Which is not, it's like a 50-50, okay? I'm not gonna lie, so that's why I haven't tried it. But
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna try though. I told myself this year that I'm gonna like make a very, like, cause my last year's thing was, hey, make sure you follow into the footsteps of what Jared was working on, what we were both working on. And I mean, at the end of the day, I can understand if there was, how do I word this? I get everyone, oh, go to rehab. One, I didn't go to rehab. I did keep up with my therapist. I did keep up with my psychiatrist. I did keep up with everything going on. I did not actually go to a rehab. I ended up getting off everything by myself and doing everything afterwards that I need to do, checking in with that, and it being like, in a sense, an outpatient thing, but more just of my own will.
Right.
But when it comes down to Jared or me during that time, would say that none of this happened, right? Where were we gonna have because I did it. Like I 100% did it, and it took me a minute. And I was grieving, and I didn't even take that into consideration. People don't think about that. Like, grieving people normally run towards this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm running away, and just to prove the point that this is what we said we're gonna do, we're gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could do it. I could do whatever I want right now, literally, and it doesn't matter because what are you gonna do? Put me in a crazy? Okay, put me there. I've seen some crazy fucking shit. I probably deserve to be there now. Like, I don't know what to say. You know what I mean? Like, what's the worst? Like, I don't understand. So, like, me being and doing the positive and the right things in life when I have every reason to be mean or be upset or be a grouch to the world or to myself or to the people around me, and I don't, and I'm not doing those things, I'm like, if anything would have changed, would there still have been, unless, like, we really took into the things that I was saying into consideration, where was the time gonna be for us to do this? Because you saw us.
You were on the move.
Yeah, and again, his work ethic, beautiful.
Yeah,
but
I never
it's
seen
because
anything like
things were already there. I had to change my phone so that I didn't see the old calendar. We had like years already planned. So I'm like, where is this? So we were supposed to do like a blood transfer thingy. I don't even know. Some crazy thing. So it would only be like, we'd be like, I guess like asleep or something for 4 days. I don't know. All in a doctor's office. But even then, that does not, I learned from doing all of this alone, literally alone, that you have to really actually, you got to do it mentally. You can't I can't physically just be like, okay, yeah. And okay, yeah. Like, no, that's not. You gotta that mental health is still there.
Yeah.
Just because the drugs are taking the mental health, I still need to take my medicine for this. I still need to take my medicine for that, or we're gonna end up in a shit show. So it's like when it comes down to people asking me, you know what I mean, I haven't figured it out yet. Like, because at the end of the day, when will we have the time? When was the time put out?
Yeah.
I didn't see it. And I've already said stuff about it.
He would have had to change his whole lifestyle so much to sort of facilitate that.
It wouldn't have been much at all.
Yeah.
It would have just had to be me and him by ourselves.
Right.
And us actually have a break, like I was saying.
I feel like he didn't think he had earned the break yet, right?
No, he absolutely knows and knew he earned the break.
But like, he was such a new artist that I think that he kind of felt like, I have to solidify this role that I'm in, sort of.
Nope. He was gonna sit there, put an album out that I have written right on that phone.
Because artists take time off all the time.
Right.
It's not out of the ordinary for a rapper to take 5 months off.
Yeah, think about
at
it.
Least,
that would have been his third album.
Think about Kanye. We don't hear from Kanye for like 3 years, 4 years.
That's what I'm saying. He's and people are with even this little things that he has. People are already. You're like Wayne, or you're like this, or you're like when he did the other. They're like, oh, you switched it up and went this way, just like Wayne. You know what I mean? Like, you're talking about a GOAT, a legend. The bad things that you're saying about Death Race for Love, you're saying a bad thing in your head because it's not what you thought you wanted, because you might be going through this right now, but he's trying to teach you to be positive or happier or like be more aware of your own mental illness, or is it drug addiction, or is it this, or is it... There's a lot of coding and wordplay to what he says. People just think it's just drugs or love or this or sadness or that and depression. It's like, yeah, I was there when he described to you the kind of mental health problem he had. He didn't just say, hey, Adam, I'm just doing drugs. I want to be high all the time, 24/7, and let's just do crack. Like, because then there would have been no, he would have been a drug addict. He sat there and said, no, Adam, da-da-da-da, hold my hand, clap my hand. Now, I don't realize if that's real or not. He gave you a full explanation of what his mental health issue was. When there was others, obviously. But he was even able in that moment. I remember that day, like, because he would tell that story. Because that was something he was aware of himself. Now, he's not explaining it to you like a doctor. He's not telling you, oh, that you have bipolar, you have this, you have that, or whatever it is. So take this, and you're going to be good. Because you have lived such a crazy life that you definitely have to, you don't have a life where you can live in a bubble. So you have to take this. That's where I am now. It's like, I have to take this, this, and this. Because my life, even if I go, just how everyone says, oh, she's in her room 24/7, blacked out, like lights blacked out. Everything's blacked out except for the huge TV, and we're just watching TV. And that's what she does. Because the second I do anything else, it's...
Right, like people kind of want you to permanently be like a depressed widow, right?
I guess a lot. It's just how, I guess.
And there's a lot of truth to that, but then at the same time, you don't want to be that forever. You want to be able to move on at some point, even though it's going to be hard.
And when it comes down to it, it's more or less, they could want me to be whoever they think they want me to be, and that's fine, and I don't care. When it comes down to, I have to make money, obviously, one. I didn't and never wanted and do not have Jared's money. There's not one thing other than the things that he got me, because he took me from the things that I owned. Right. You get what I'm saying? Like, so yes, obviously they're more glamorous maybe, or this or that, but that's just, Jared wanted these things for me. Right. Just how he has the exact same things because he wanted to match. You know what I mean? Even these are his glasses he got when we were in whatchamacallit. Like, it's little things, you know what I mean? Like, they're my memories, they're my thing, because that's all we did together. Other than that, we were on tour, and everyone else has that. So I only have these little things. Other than that, I don't have this, I don't have that, and I have Jared has given me plenty of reasons to be able to be like, no, this is mine, or that is mine, or that is this, or this is. I don't want anything to do with that, because I'm part of Juice Wrld. Like, I know who Juice Wrld is. I know what he sings. I mean, shit, he sings about me, about his exes, about his life, about what he did that day, about you being over, just freestyle. You know, the kid can just talk about whatever.
Right.
So yes, I'm part of it, but Jared is, I know Jared. Like, Jared's mine. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's difficult for me to, I guess, I'm not put in a role. Like, it's just weird being put in a role for me. You know what I mean? Because I am that depressed ass widow bitch. But I can't be, if you only knew what that looked like. People think that this is what that looks like.
Right.
This is a
You've come a long
do you
way.
understand? I know that I look like I smell like 5-day-old like Chanel or something. I don't know what. I know I don't look as great as I could. So, but I know that this is way like 3,000% up.
It's probably more honest than coming in full glam right now.
I mean, do you think I could even? Because I couldn't. You know me. Like,
You probably haven't done that since. Or did you ever?
I did. I never. If I put, Jared would make me take off my makeup if I put makeup on. He let me shop there all the time. I'm never allowed to wear it. Literally, I came out. We did the. I remember it was the photo shoot for. It's like we're on the quads and we have like his like merch on or whatever.
Right.
I put some makeup on. He comes out. He looked at me. He was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "What am I doing? What's wrong?" He was like, "Come here," and he gave me a little wipey, and then just.
He took it off.
You've seen it plenty. He'll take off my. He's like, "Okay, come on," and hopped on the quad and took pictures.
Wow.
He would not. I was like, okay, so if I'm not allowed to, and I was always a makeup girl. Like, I loved. I know it's not like I need makeup. I like makeup. It's
Damn
artsy.
near every girl likes it. Yeah.
Like, it's artsy. It's like fun. I could do whatever with it, or I could just fucking make sure my face looks fucking done. And I don't look like I'm dying. But in general, I'm gonna come comfy because I'm already working through enough mentally. If I had to think about like something hurting on me right now, like I'm good. I'm not with it. Not doing it.
For sure. So, Lotti Biscotti.
So I've been smoking on it for a minute.
Really?
And
You're a weed girl now. Well, you're already a weed girl.
Yeah, I was always. Yeah, I think I
weed
came out
dealer
here.
now.
Now I'm a drug dealer, but it's fucking legal. So if we're gonna talk shit, there you go. No, but for real, the Lotti Biscotti, I figured, because in the beginning, what was helping me understand the fans or like understand my like role with the fans, because Jared would try to like, when he was here, would explain it to me in certain ways. So I took those ways after he passed away and tried to make it fit in my head. Like, okay, he said this, and that. So Lotti, go online and see, like, just go be you and chill and see if that's like a thing. Like, if that's what they're okay with seeing. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm not willing to share anything else at that moment. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'd just sit there and I'd smoke, and Jared, you'd come over. We always only had biscotti. And now we didn't have Lotti Biscotti, you know what I mean? But, his ass was, Lotti, get the biscotti, or Lotti Biscotti, make it all up and make a fucking thing, and it would be so funny. So, yeah, I end up being like, there's only like, to make biscotti, it takes like the formula, the formula's a little bit different. There's only a couple of.
I'm not a weed grower, so I don't know.
Well, when it comes to biscotti, there's only a couple of them that actually can fall under biscotti. Really? In a way, yeah. And there's like close formulas, and there's this and there's that. So this Lotti Biscotti, and it gives me the same high that I and Jared would have when we were smoking, and that was the weed that I was smoking. You know what I mean? Like on live, chilling with people, and I'm like, at that point in time, they're like, let's just all smoke together. We'd all be smoking together, like all little fans and all of us just chilling, listening to like either Jared's music, elevator music. This one time I wasn't allowed to listen to my own. Like, Jared made a whole album about me, and I wasn't allowed to listen to it on Instagram. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah, but it was only a one-time thing. I don't know what happened. But so I listened to elevator music instead.
So you don't have access to all the unreleased music?
No, I do.
You really do?
Yeah, I do. I just don't. I'm very low-key about it. I don't have it in anywhere anyone can get their hands on it all.
Right.
And the songs that I do have, that I have, like I switch them out and like I like will delete them and switch them for like, okay, I'm feeling this today. But you guys have to think about it too. I'm totally like the grandma from Coco right now still. Right. Don't like, I could tell you to this day, I still have not listened to not Death Race for Love. Like Death Race for Love is the last thing I listened to. I have not listened to Legends Never Die. I can't do it.
Really?
Yeah, I still, because I even told the fans, I feel like they think I'm lying. I have not. That just fly, was that Jay?
She dropped her phone.
Oh my God. No, that happens to me all the time. And I'm just like, okay, Jared. Like, something flies. I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm gonna leave it alone because I don't know what's going on.
Can we do this again sometime?
We can.
Because I feel like, well, we're already like an hour and a half late for the
literally.
No Jumper live stream.
Sorry,
the
guys.
No Jumper show.
I woke up and came here. You guys know I do it every time. I literally texted Adam and I was like, I'm so sorry.
I just hate that.
I woke up.
I don't want anyone to think that I was like rushing to end this or anything because it's like the least.
Oh,
the last podcast I would ever want to rush, but also
I had to literally, first of all, it's better like that. It's
to
always
just kind of cap it at a certain point.
You gotta cap it.
You can't give them everything because if we sit here for 4 hours, they might really start to feel like, oh, now we know everything.
No, and that's the thing. That's the thing. It's like it can be something that you're sitting down with. It's and you know how close. You know what I mean? Me and Jared were. So it's like you know that you're sitting. Okay, what she's saying is I watched this happen, or I watched. So it's like okay, we could really get the whole story here, but we can't give it all of them right now. So that's how we'll keep it.
I respect
we'll keep it at that.
I could think of a lot of other things I could ask you.
You know what I mean? This was like this. Oh, by the way, this was like last like these when you can't. I'm like, okay, cool. I love the vibe. Like I'm like, it made me answer comfortably.
Here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like
that's
normally,
good.
like I'd be like, okay, getting nervous, and I'll tell you, like I'll be like, I'm nervous.
Right.
Like I can't do this right now. Like yeah, no, but I think it's just because it's you and you know.
I think people walk in here and it smells like weed and they're like, oh, I can smoke weed in here. That makes me feel comfortable.
Oh my, you know what? I even double checked and asked.
Yeah.
I was like,
well, you also thought you couldn't say cunt or fuck.
You know what? Why do I have this problem? I'm like, am I allowed to smoke weed? But I'm gonna call myself a cunt.
But have you been on YouTube? Like
no.
on YouTube, you could say
know.
whatever swears you. Well, I mean, I guess actually you're really. No,
I have no idea.
You can get demonetized.
I have YouTube, but I'm actually posting tonight. Hey, we'll leave it at that. How about that?
Are you really?
Posting my first YouTube tonight, and gonna just, I guess.
That's exciting.
It's not much, but it is just to let people know more about, because this collab is like when I did everything for it, it's very like even down to the color.
Right.
And the colors I used, super, 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 like, all have stories. And then I also want to show everyone, because it's based off my one tattoo, the tattoo that Jared and I got. Well, Jared got the night before he passed away, and I was supposed to get, but I never woke up to get it because he called the doctor and didn't want me to know. And then when I came back from the Rolling Loud, because I went from the funeral off the plane to the Rolling Loud thing, and then went home and got this tattooed. So I'm gonna show that tonight, and no one's seen it because everyone wants to like take the tattoos. They all want to like they got like I love all, and like they don't realize that like those are my initials, or like, and I'm just like, or they had like the I'm sorry one, and I'm like, that's because I caught him like drinking lean, so he put I'm sorry on his hand so he remembers not to touch it when he's touching it.
It wasn't that hard to catch him drinking lean. He was drinking a lot of lean.
Oh no, it was very hard. No, listen, let me leave you with this one. I caught him there's twice. The one time, so it's just, and he would look at me and he's like, God fucking is telling, like, you know something's weird with you because you know. And I'm like, well, I'll like call him out on certain shit if I think he's high, and I'm like, you're high, like I know that he's high off one thing or another thing. But then when I noticed the difference between lean, I was like, no lean. And then because I could tell now. And then I was like, you're off lean, but I didn't have any proof. You get what I'm saying? I was like, I don't have the proof to back it up. Fuck. Well, this one time I was watching TV. He said he was gonna go out to the kitchen, and I was like, all right, cool. Go to the kitchen, get a drink. He comes back in super late, right? And I'm like, my kitchen's like 6 steps away. Like it's a big house, but you were not there that long. I know you. So then he did it again. And I was like, I'm getting up. I'm going to go out there and get a cookie. Like, I'm just going to go get a cookie. And I went out there, and, like, in my house, it was like you walk out of my room, you make a left, doorway to go outside. Next thing is, like, the living room, the first living room. And if you make a right, it's the kitchen. And lo and behold, he wasn't in the kitchen. But if you keep going straight, and it's all open, so you just keep going straight, there's another living room. And then to the left is the movie theater / studio. And here I see little Mr. Butterfingers with some little baby lean bottle. And he's like pouring it into his, and you know I love sippy cups. So that was the downfall of me not knowing. It's because I'm like sippy cups every day, all day. And then get him sippy cups thinking that it's cute. Now learning later on that sippy cups hit a lot. And I threw a fit. I was like, are you joking? And then I just looked at him. I was like, you're joking, right? And then he just like stopped and like brought it into the bathroom and threw it down the toilet. And like was freaking. He's like, I'm so sorry. Da 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 da. That's just how whatchamacallit, that one song, like packing her. He like literally unpacked my bags while I was packing it before, like on a different occasion. Like that's where that song came from. It's all real. All this shit, like it's real.
Wow.
Yeah, but that time I was really mad. That's when he had this problem where he would think about really cute things. Like I told you, like people will come over and get me Chanel bags for my birthday, or like this or that. Like you can never find like alligator skin. I love alligator. So it's just like things like that, and I'm just like, I'm still mad. Like you can't be doing this, and then he doesn't do it, and then I find out later on someone might have given him this, and I'm like, let me figure out that it's you. And then Jared's like, no, it was just me. And I'm like, you were with me. What do you mean? And then, but people knew that, like, they just didn't want to get yelled at by me, because if you get yelled at by me, then you get kicked out. And they didn't want to get kicked out of Juice Wrld's world at the end of the day. And
you don't want to make mom mad.
Exactly. So then no one would tell me the truth. But then some people did. And when they did is when I obviously put my foot down and fucking got shit right. But, like, when I have 8 different energies in the house and I'm trying to fucking keep one straight, and he's just so charismatic, like, it's charismatic. Am I saying that right?
Charismatic.
Thank you.
Although
sorry.
Yours was cool too.
Charismatic.
Is
that wrong? I feel like maybe
what are
it's
words?
Not. Thank you. See, I hit it once and I'm like too high to even say the right word. But yeah, no. I would be like, I can't do this. I have to just focus on you. And when everyone else is intertwining, it's not as easy as everyone thinks. Okay? So we can leave it at that one for now.
We'll leave it at that for now.
Literally.
Thank you so much for sharing this with me.
No, you're welcome.
I really appreciate it.
I feel like if anyone could be someone that I could share this with, it would have to be.
It answered a lot of questions that I had kind of.
Well, yeah,
been
no,
pondering.
there's a lot more. You know that, but that's just because you're in a sense intertwined. You're close. You've been there. You've seen
Small
him.
part of the universe.
You know what I mean? Like.
Small role.
It's different. It's different when you try to talk to people and they don't know about like the real life. Like coming over, hanging out with Jared.
Yeah.
It's easier just to talk to you than it would be someone who I have to like explain.
Yeah.
Everything to. It's harder, because not everyone understands everything. Oh, common sense isn't the same common sense.
I got to tell you something.
What?
The Patreon subscribers are on the screen right now.
I don't know what the hell that is.
It's okay. But
You gotta tell
we
me.
got to do it.
Who is it?
Yeah, it's just some hardcore fans. Their names are on the screen. Patreon.com/NoJumper. I got to throw the plug in. Sorry.
Patreon?
Not to be disrespectful, but.
You guys are the shit, right?
They are, yeah.
Then you are.
They're keeping the lights on.
Oh, say less. Patreon.
There's boobs on there, too.
Titties and Patreon.
Yeah.
That needs to be the slogan. You guys want me to record it for you?
Maybe we can work on that.
I'm weak.
Ally Lotti.
Thank you so much for
Appreciate
having
you.
me. I appreciate it. And jammies and all. Appreciate it.
That was real.
No, always.
Thank you.
You guys, it's always real. No matter how. Sorry, my headband has been in the way the whole time, so I've been holding these down so I can
it's
hear
okay.
everything. It is what it is. Only what you make it.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
Ally Lotti, No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. Check us out on YouTube,
Bullet.
Patreon, all that.
And titties.
Like, comment, subscribe. NoJumper.com if you want support. Rest in peace, Juice. Forever.
Always. No, he's still guiding. He's
Isn't
not
that fucked up?
He's not at rest yet. He's still guiding.
You picturing him up in heaven, just like in a fucking recliner, just sort of
No,
chuckling at us right now?
No, he's too. Bro, I'd be down
Oh,
here.
he's famous up there too.
No. He's busy doing something. He was always up. There's no way he's just sitting there like.
You don't think he got 2 hours for us? Be like,
No,
let's see what
yeah,
they're
he's
talking
down.
about.
Yeah, he's down here like guiding, doing what
so
you got to
he's-
do.
oh,
He's
okay.
he's here. You get what I'm
He's
saying?
up close and personal.
That's what I'm saying. He's like, no, I got guiding still to do. He's too. He was restless.
We can't dive into the afterlife right now. We're not going to
can't.
sort all
We
that
can't
out
because
right
there's
now.
a whole tattoo for that one too. We cannot. Another time.
Allie, appreciate you.
No, you're the best. Thank you.